All right, as I said to you at the introduction to today's program, extraordinary events happened yesterday. Well, what seemed to be extraordinary events in the Cyclone Gabriel inquest as a consequence of the tragedy that happened in February 2023. It's really interesting in actual fact. Cyclone Gabriel killed, well, in some stories, 11 people, and according to yesterday's Radio New Zealand, 19, which does seem enormous discrepancy, I have to say. But I think the 19 people who died were those who died in both the Cyclone Gabriel storm and the Auckland flood combined. But Cyclone Gabriel killed, well, according to Radio New Zealand, at least 11 people nationwide in February 2023. And about 3 or 4 months ago, they did a 2-year review, if you like, of that particular event and that particular night and visited some of those families. And there's a photo there that haunts me. I look at it and I see a beautiful little girl. It's the same sort of photo of Katalia, the little girl that died or was murdered. The beautiful little Maori girl, 3-year-old in Kaikoi. But there is this beautiful, magnificent photo of this gorgeous little blue-eyed girl, 2-year-old girl, Ivy Collins, who was one of those people who was killed, drowned, as her family was seeking to evade the Esk River in all its fury on that particular night without warning, and they lost their daughter that night. And I don't know, I'm affected by them these days. I don't know, I'm getting old, am I? Is it I remember my own? But you can't not look at those photos and have, well, an emotional, indeed empathetic response to the tragedy that was and the life that was lost. So it makes it very real when you're discussing what we're about to discuss now, and certainly for that particular family and for those who lost loved ones during that particular event. But the as I introduced you this morning, the advice that was given yesterday in the Coronial Inquiry, reported by Radio New Zealand today and yesterday, was that the Met Service, who have responsibility, not NIWA, but Met Service, who have responsibility in cases of civil emergencies and of providing official weather reports to the organisations who deal with civil emergencies, and that's regional councils through their civil defence personnel, could have upgraded weather warnings for the Hawke's Bay to red the day before Cyclone Gabriel hit in early 2023, but faced opposition from the regional council, according to the evidence given to the Coronial Inquiry yesterday by the agency's chief meteorologist. If you read the whole section, and I implore you to do so, or the whole news media report from Radio New Zealand reporting from the Coronial Inquiry, it doesn't make the Met Service look all that brilliant either, just quietly. But it certainly doesn't make the Hawke's Bay Regional Council look brilliant either. And I'm sure that if I was a regional council on that council, and as you know I am a regional councillor, I would have been deeply aggrieved that somehow my staff got in the way of the people of my region being warned that a cataclysmic, potentially cataclysmic, and became catastrophic weather event was on its way, and were persuaded not to issue that warning. Well, joining us to do with this, a man who I think he's been on the regional council perhaps longer than anybody, former MP, former Associate Minister of Health, in actual fact, free under 6 care that came in due to this man. The Honourable Neil Kirton joins us now. Neil, lovely to have you on the show again. Welcome. Good on you, mate. How are you?
Yeah, great to talk to you, Michael. Yeah, it's been a while, but very happy to talk.
Hey, John, coming up your way, and I'm going to, so this is a propitious story. I'll be up your way next week, and I had every intention of coming to see you, so I'll send you a text and let you know.
Lovely.
Listen, mate, this story, as a regional councillor, one regional councillor to another, forget the fact that we are, in a different situation here. I would have been horrified if I read this and went, oh my God. When were you first made aware that there was this clash between the Met Service and hydrologists at the Hawke's Bay Regional Council?
Well, Michael, let's just divide this into two separate discussions. The answer to your question is I was as shocked by the revelation in the media as others, many have been. We simply weren't advised of this. But let's go to the facts to start with, and the Met Service it really did throw the regional council, the Hawke's Bay Regional Council, under the bus. The evidence given, I would say, is very economical with the facts. I've got a lot of confidence in and accept those on the ground hydrologists involved, and I know from the recent briefing we've had that what the Met Service have said is simply not correct. What they've done has been very economical with the facts.
Are you saying they lied to the Coronial Inquiry, Neil?
What I'm saying is that they have presented a picture which just simply doesn't stack up, and I think the Met Service should be called back to the stand to explain themselves, because it simply doesn't work that way. And I accept that our hydrologists, let's be clear, the regional council processes, in particular civil defence processes, need to be accountable for a number of shortcomings. One of them is not a rejection or an opposition to the call by the Met Service around the warnings. That's their job entirely. They've obviously had some conversation with the council staff. That has been that conversation was very limited, and was not seeking confirmation or approval for a red warning. It simply didn't happen that way, and I'm just appalled at the Met Service's behaviour here. They need to be accountable for what they're responsible for, and the regional council needs to take it on the chin for what it's responsible for, and we've got a clear difference in position on this.
Okay, well, I mean, the facts are the facts at the end of the day, and from what I can see, that's certainly been reported by the state broadcaster as to what the evidence in chief was yesterday of the chief meteorologist for the Met Service, Chris Noble. He said Met Service wanted to issue the red warning the day before the event, but the Hawke's Bay Regional Council was opposed based on confidence in its flood modelling. You're saying that's not true? No,
it's totally. It's just not true. It's simply incorrect. It's not true. It didn't happen that way. And as I say,
how do you know, Neil?
Well, I've got confidence that. But let's look at the facts. The day before, the forecast from Met Service was of 100 to 150 millimetres of rain to fall, in particular around Esk View. So how could it be that they would call a red alert, a red warning, with a forecast of that nature? It simply doesn't stack up on the Sunday morning at 10:06. The forecast didn't change till much later. In fact, almost 24 hours later. Because the Met Service are the ones with the radar in front of them. Our guys, our hydrologists, don't have the radar. They've got telemetry telling us what the river levels are doing. That's their job, and the river levels were low. Well, certainly not of the significance to call a red warning. So it's not possible for the council staff to have done so, the hydrologists to have done so, and it certainly wasn't their job to do so.
I accept that. I mean, it's obviously the Met Service's job. I mean, that's their number one responsibility. They give the weather warnings, and that's their ultimate responsibility. I understand that.
Yeah.
But
staff are telling me they didn't oppose a request to increase warning. Number one, they wouldn't be asked for, and number two, they didn't oppose it. So the Met Service need to get back on that stand and tell the coroner exactly what happened.
Okay, but that's the evidence they've given. They've sworn. I've represented people in coronial inquiries. You give evidence. You swear the evidence in front of it. The direct line were the hydrologists were opposed to a red warning being issued, citing high confidence in their flood modelling, which indicated no major concerns. Now, I imagine the Hawke's Bay Regional Council is represented at this coronial inquiry hearing, yeah?